is N7CS, just testing if Echo Link audio quality is good or not on this Wi-Fi. This is N7CS.
Audio quality was fine here in Northeast Bellevue.
Yes, this is K9PQ. Yeah, you sound just fine.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, this is Bert. Not sure if I'll be able to stay in for the net. I'm just kind of testing this out. I'll let you guys know, or I'll let you go now since I know it's coming up to the top of the hour.
Standing by.
Break and squelch, but no audio.
K9PQ station, we don't hear any audio. It's time for net. I'll take net control tonight as Dave isn't here. So I'll break for any communications before we get started. Someone breaking squelch, but there's no audio. So I'm going to get started. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. We thank the CTAC repeater group for allowing us to have the audio portion of our nets on this frequency. We have a repeater with a input on the 440 band and output on the 1.2 gig band, and you can find our website by searching WW7ATS, and you will find our website there, and you can find more details. So with that, let me go through our check-ins. We've got Richard, K7ITX. These are checked in by video. Ron, KT7QKU. And Wade, who I believe is just going to be monitoring tonight, but we'll check in with him. And James, W7N. That's all I see for now. Is there anyone else who would like to check into the net? This is K9PQ with the WattSet.
N7QO.
We've got you, N7QO. Anyone else? Let's get things started. I'm going to go to Richard. I've got to switch in a couple of things here. Let me get this going, and Richard, it's all you. Take it away.
Okay, well, very good. Wow, Bob, double-fisted tonight, pretty good. Appreciate it very much. Good for you. So, let's see, what's going on? Well, a little bit of excitement right now in the household. I guess I'll start with our grandson is from Bellingham, just graduated up at Western in, I guess, music and audio-visual. He's got hired. He's a journeyman, evidently, in audio-visual for the area, and he'll be running, or is running, some kind of symposium that Microsoft is having. I'm not sure what it's about, but at the convention center all week long. So we said, sure, you could stay here during that event. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is my mother-in-law is Icelandic, and she was getting ready to leave for Iceland in about 2 or 3 weeks. However, but that's put on hold. She would be going to Keflavik and the area real close to what's known as the Blue Lagoon. Well, they're expecting an imminent eruption in just any hour now, and it's pretty frightening. They had one in the area back in, I guess, 1971-72 that just, destroyed the town. And so Debbie and I just saw a YouTube report where this time the magma chambers are filling up 4 times faster with and I don't know, like 10 times more magma than the last big eruption. So it's pretty frightening. 250 earthquakes an hour, and they're able to document where the magma is, and it's pretty weird how they're scared to death, yet the Blue Lagoon, which is right in the middle of where everyone would get killed, is wide open with tourists still right now. So it's pretty weird. I know, it's pretty weird. So anyway, that's our excitement right now. K7ITX, back to net control.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Next up is Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, well, thank you, Bob. Good evening to the group, and KD7QKU here. Well, I don't have any exciting news like Richard. I mean, my golly, volcano eruption. It makes me think of Mount St. Helens, but that would be bad. We haven't been doing too much. Today we had Joanne's sister and brother-in-law and their friend Bob and his wife Margie from Alaska. They live in Anchorage. And it was kind of, I asked Bob if they'd had any snow, and he said, oh yeah, we had 5 inches of snow. So I forgot to ask him if it was still on the ground, but they'd already had snow. Asking if he had all these wood ready for the winter. He burns a lot of wood. He was saying that, well, he did, but he has 2 sons, and they live near him. Bob's my age, and his sons are probably, I don't know, 50, 60 years old. One of them's a fireman. I don't know what the other one is. And he said both of his sons been coming over and getting wheelbarrows full of his dry wood. He likes to have his wood, split and stacked for a year before he burns it, so it doesn't put all the creosote in your chimney. And So anyway, he said that he did have enough wood, but he's not sure now. He doesn't know why they're over getting his wood. So anyway, Joanne had made a pumpkin pie, and so we had pumpkin pie and coffee. And then they were going to go down to the sandwich shop, the antique sandwich shop. I don't know. Richard may know where that is. It's on the way down to the ferry on the left-hand side there in Ruston. I had a doctor's appointment, so I couldn't go. And then I've been taking, I've been having what I think is an ulcer attack, and I've been taking this medicine. You have to take it 2 or 3 hours after you eat, and then you have to take it an hour before you eat. So it really messes, and you have to take it 4 times a day, so it messes everything up, I'm telling you. So, and it's a hard pill to take. Whatever it's made out of, it's called calcifate or something to the similar in it. It sticks to mucous membranes or something, so it covers your sore in your stomach. So theoretically, it gives it a chance to heal. So anyway, so it's hard to swallow because your swallower is a mucous membrane and it wants to stick. So anyway, that's fun. So I guess with that, I'll just turn it back to net for now. KD7QK. Oh, and I got a text back from Dave, and he said he wasn't feeling well tonight, so he's not going to join us. So anyway, back to net KD7QKU.
Okay, well, thank you, Ron. I just saw a note about Echolink, and it reminded me that Bert was on Echolink. So let's see if he's still with us. Bert, if you're there, please come back.
Connected W7ITL. Connected W7ITL. Connected WU7N.
The video link today, just audio. So I'm still on the cruise ship, just departed Ixtapa, Mexico a couple hours ago on the way to Guatemala now. The internet connection hasn't been too great on the ship. I didn't pay for the premium service, just the standard Wi-Fi. So yeah, just kind of listening in. I'm not sure if I'll be able to listen in for too much longer, but yeah, nice to hear people and stuff. So this is N7CS from Pacific Ocean, back to net.
Thank you, Bert. We heard that just fine, and hopefully you can stick around. I know Wade is just listening in for now, so let's go on to James, WU7N. Go ahead, James.
This is James, WU7N. Well, I'd just like to share a picture I found. Come on, if you build something that looks like this, that has titles like Massage Area, Retreat Lagoon, Retreat Spa, In-Water Bar, Lava Restaurant. I mean, you're going to name your restaurant the Lava Restaurant and the Lava Cafe. I mean, you just know that you're going to end up being the 23rd century version of Pompeii, right? I mean, you know that. When they built this whole thing, they should have just named it Pompeii, right? But actually, I'm glad your relative got word right before she got on the airplane. With my luck, I usually find these things out, in the terminal. The customs guy looks at me in horror and goes, "How did you get through?" That's usually my experience with these things. Well, anyway, let's see. Today was a great day for walking. It was beautiful, sunshiny weather here in Northeast Bellevue, so I went ahead and took a break in all the videos I'm watching for my professional certification and went out and took a walk. I did get 5 fun-filled hours of video here, and I know all of you wish you weren't here because they're pretty dry, but I managed to slog through them. Actually, some of them are kind of interesting. Occasionally you get one that's just kind of a sales presentation kind of thing, and that's maybe not quite as great, but there was an excellent one on passwords today, and the news you can use is, if you're using a password that contains anything you can find in any dictionary around the world, it better be at least 20 characters long now. Well, that was interesting for an analysis of, what's available. Oddly enough, you can use GPUs, which are used for graphics, can also be used for things like Bitcoin mining and cracking passwords. So that was kind of interesting to hear all about that. So anyway, well, it's 12 minutes after the hour. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. I guess we've all seen enough of Pompeii version 2, so I'll go ahead and unshare that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to our net control, Bob, way up there at the north end.
ITL, timeout, WU7N, disconnected.
Oh, let's go on to, this is, first of all, for ID. This is Bob K9PQ. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the CTAC repeater. Let's go to Jim at 7QO. Go ahead, Jim.
N7QO, thank you, Bob. Good evening, everyone. Well, let's see. Dick, grandson graduated, mother-in-law, volcano, Keflavik, tourists in danger. You know, I saw something on television, I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it seemed to me there was some discussion about that volcano blowing, and people were flocking there to see it. I don't know. You wouldn't get me to do that. There was one time, I remember there was a volcano that blew. It may have been Iceland, but it's possible it was Greenland, and we had a whole bunch of flights delayed that were supposed to go between the U.S. and Europe. I mean, we had crew members that were stuck where they didn't want to be for more than a week. Under some circumstances, they could have taken a longer route, but if you have to carry more fuel, you have to leave passengers and stuff behind. So it was a big mess for quite some time. I wish everyone luck who's down there. Maybe they'd get to see something exciting, though. Ron, Joanne's sister and brother-in-law. Yeah, I was based in Anchorage for 7 years. That brings back memories. Your ulcer medicine. Oh, man, I feel for you. 4 times a day. I would like to know if you can crush that stuff. You can, I don't know. It just seems to me that even if it's a powder, it can go where it needs to go and adhere to that. I would ask if the doctor if it's okay. And let's see. Bert, video only. I'm video only as well. Departing ex-Tapa on your way to Guatemala. Good to hear from you. Sounds like you're still out there having fun. Hope it. I would say it, I hope it never ends, but we miss you, guy. Jim, lava, Pompeii. When I hear that, I think of pumice, and I think of maybe getting an owie. That's just me. If I were sitting on that stuff, or even washing my hands with something like that, there used to be a soap out there. Matter of fact, I think the soap was called Lava. Wash your hands with that stuff. It was definitely a little bit abrasive. Not real kind on your skin. Anyway, that's what I think of that. And training. I'm glad it's you and not me. Good luck with that. We'll be keeping our fingers crossed that it all works out for you very well, and that you don't, I don't know, die of boredom or something. Sometimes training can be that way. And Dave, if you're out there listening, sorry you're not feeling well. We know you are not feeling particularly well on Saturday either. Hope you get to feeling better soon. Back to you, Bob, and 7QO.
Thank you, Jim. This is Bob, K9PQ, and I'll take my turn here. If Dave is listening, definitely sending out my sympathy, Dave. That I hope you feel better real soon, and best of luck there. So the image you're seeing, you don't see me just yet. The still image that I'm showing is the one that was just released by the European Space Agency from their new super telescope called Euclid. And this is the hidden galaxy. This is a galaxy that is that you normally can't see because the Milky Way is between our planet and this galaxy and obscures it. And they were able to use some of the fancy camera work there to get all of the Milky Way galaxy out of the way so you could actually see this galaxy. But this was one of 4 pictures they released that are sort of show-off pictures, intentionally, and also to demonstrate what it can do to themselves as a bit of a test. But their main work is going to, I'll switch back to me now. Their main work is actually to look for dark matter. And dark matter is one of those very, very strange concepts in physics and astronomy that I still find hard to swallow. I mean, I accept it. There seems to be a tremendous amount of evidence and good science supporting it, but dark matter and dark energy are just two things that it's just hard to wrap my head around, that such things exist in our universe. It's matter that we cannot detect by any normal means, and same with energy that we can't detect by any normal means. And the evidence behind it is all based on how the universe is contracting and expanding, and whether it's accelerating and decelerating. And they have to assume that these things exist that cause that. Let me break. Yeah, I just find that really fascinating, and I'm interested to see what the results are. I mean, I felt a bit the same way about gravity waves till they actually detected them. So, I mean, I'm not going to write it off. So let's see, the other news, my 2 sisters are both going to be joining me, one from Tennessee and one from just southwestern Washington near Portland in Vancouver. The one older sister in Vancouver, she's going to be up for her daughter's wedding, and it's a very small civil wedding that they have to do for practical purposes because he's in the military, and they have to be married in case he gets orders to go somewhere. So none of us are going, but my sister is going as the mother, and then she's going to pick up my other sister at the airport at SeaTac on Saturday. So I will have to miss this Saturday's net, as we will be having a late dinner right about this time. Okay, that's my news. Let me break. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Let's go back up to the top. Let's try to see if we can get Bert one more time, if he's still there. N7CS, go ahead.
WW7N disconnected.
Bert, N7CS. Yeah, let's see. In case you guys don't know what I'm doing on this particular cruise, I'm on a 20-day cruise. It started in Seattle back on October 30th, the day before Halloween, and is proceeding down the west coast, and eventually we'll go through the Panama Canal. So it will be my, 3rd trip through the Panama Canal this year, and then all around to Colombia, and then eventually it will end in Port Canaveral near the Orlando area. Then I'll hop on another ship from there for 7 days, and eventually wind up back in Seattle via airplane, only to then stay a couple days and fly over to Rome for transatlantic back to the east coast of the U.S. So I'm going to be traveling a lot for the rest of the year, so going back and forth all over the place. But yeah, so this will be my 73, so this is N7CS from the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Ixtapa heading to Guatemala. N7CS, back to that.
Thank you, Bert. I'm really glad you could join us, and enjoy your trip there, and do some surfing for the rest of us. Okay, let's move on to Richard, K7ITX. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay. Yeah, this deal in Iceland, it isn't just the Blue Lagoon. Just maybe a kilometer or two away is the major power station. You know, all the electricity and the way they heat their homes, everything, it's all geothermal. Well, no, they're looking at 30,000 people to be dislocated. It sounds like it's almost a done deal. So it's pretty much a disaster, especially if they lose the power station. I don't know that it'll knock out the capital of Reykjavik, but it'll knock out Keflavik and the little towns all around there. It might even knock out the Keflavik airport as well. So, okay, that being said, if you're having trouble with dark matter, I'm still having trouble with this book. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before. Stephen Hawking, A Brief History of Time. Well, I've tried to read it several times, and I get, okay, yeah, no, I'm not the only one. But the concepts that really blow my mind are these cones, the light cones. Oh my God, you know, space and time, you know, it's just, I can see where you could go into the future by traveling at the speed of light. I guess I can understand that one pretty well. Now, but there is this thought, and I've seen it illustrated, you know, through diagrams, and but how about going back in time? It's a paradox, yes, but it has to do with being way, you know, zillions of miles away in space, and then you know, looking back at the Earth. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. So anyway, so yeah, and then the other one that shouldn't be all that difficult is E equals mc squared. Now, yeah, I can understand energy and I can understand mass, but the c squared part is the mind-boggling thing. So I guess that has something to do with momentum or velocity, something of that nature. I saw a pretty good description on YouTube, but I would literally have to, you know, listen to each sentence one at a time and stop the video to understand the concept of what the c squared represents. Because that's the nut and bolts of the equation, really. I mean, so anyway, maybe you guys know the answers. K7ITX, back to net control.
Thanks, Richard. Well, I'll have much to say on that when it comes back to my turn. I don't know how much I can clear it up. Let's go to Ron, K87QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU. Well, Richard, it just went over my head. So, I wrote down here, I was going to get everybody's opinion on a simple subject, windshield wipers. So I put new windshield wipers on my pickup a couple of years ago after we got over here, and my pickup faces south. So they've been cooked for 2 summers, and now, you know, now they go you know, across the windshield. they skip across the windshield. They got hard. So is there a kind of windshield, and windshield wiper blades are expensive, by the way. I don't know if any of you bought any lately, but you know, you can spend $60 or $70 for 2 windshield wiper blades, or $80 or something, you know, and they're kind of spendy. And I think I paid, you know, $20 a piece for the ones I got, and I think they were kind of at the bottom of the list. So if anyone has had that experience and know a brand name that is good, doesn't get hard in the sunshine, at least in a couple of years, I'd like to know about it. So that's my 2 cents worth. It is 41 degrees here tonight, so it's getting cold. The Country Music Awards is on, and I kind of like the Western music, and I would kind of like to see it, but I'm not able to see it, I guess. Joanne just came in and asked me if I saw, what's his name? I want to say Kyle Sager, but it's not. It's his brother. He was MVP. Apparently, he just gave out an award on the country music thing. So that's interesting. Baseball player. So anyway. All right. So I'm anxious to hear what everybody else has to say. Back to net, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you, Ron. We'll move on to James. Wade, I'm skipping you. Just I'll look for you in video and give me the high sign if you want to take a turn. Otherwise, you're just listening. Take it away, James.
Thank you. This is WW7N. Well, thank you, Bob. Let's see. I was going to say, your hidden galaxy obviously needs better work at hiding. If they were able to get that picture of it, if you follow me there. I mean, they're not going to have to rename it the Unhidden Galaxy or something like that. But that is impressive that they can sort through all the pixels and put in the places and get that picture at all. It's pretty amazing. And Bert, you know, I just thought Guatemala was something you smeared on your toast in the morning. So it's great that you're there. Hope you enjoy things. And hope we hear from you soon, if you can still hear me. And Richard, okay, now you told me the power station is located right at the base of the volcano. Now, the only thing that would make this the perfect disaster movie script would be if it was a nuclear power plant at the base of the volcano, but it's a geothermal plant. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't sound good. 30,000 people are going to have to find a new home if everything's buried in lava. I'm sorry to hear that. I guess maybe I shouldn't joke about it. But at least the good news is they at least know it's coming. That's better than not knowing it's coming, isn't it? I would think so. So I can't believe people would go there to watch the volcano erupt. That's, you know, there's certain massive disasters. Maybe you should go the opposite direction from where they're occurring. And I would say massive volcanic eruptions are probably on my list. You know, maybe this is why they didn't really advertise Hiroshima or Nagasaki, because they were afraid all the tourists would come and want to watch. I don't know. Just massive disasters are something to be avoided. Since I've been seeing some chatter on the digital side, Echolink does seem to work, but I noticed that when the repeater was identifying on 2 meters, it did block it on the 2 meters, but I could still hear it on Echolink. So I don't know if that's what Wade heard earlier or not. Because I could hear him on Echolink, but I couldn't hear him on the radio. So I don't know if that helps anyone trying to get in via that channel tonight. So I see it's 31 minutes after the hour. I guess that's all the damage I have to do for this round, so let me turn it back to Bob, our net control, K9PQ.
James, this is Bob, K9PQ. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Let's go on to Jim, N7QO. Go ahead, Jim.
N7QO, thank you, Bob. Well, so, 2 sisters coming to join you. That's great. Good that you can get together with family. We'll miss you on Saturday, but that's a good thing. Would be nice if maybe more people could attend the wedding, but I understand the haste there. Hope that works out well, and hope they can get the wedding that they deserve sometime in the future. Bert, yeah, 20 days. Pleasant and safe travels. That's all I can say. Let's see, Dick. Stephen Hawking, A Brief History of Time. Yeah, I've got that book as well. I've had that for a long time. It seems to me that I haven't read it in a whole bunch of years. It's possible that I did not completely read it. I don't remember for sure. I know in college I took so much physics. I should be able to explain a little more than I can, but my memory, it's been almost 50 years since I got out of college there. I'll tell you, I can't even remember my wife's anniversary, so I don't know. I can't remember everything. I'm sure that it makes sense somehow. It did when some prof did a lecture, but man, I'll be darned if I remember. And yeah, dark matter. I don't know. I haven't been doing a whole lot of reading about that, so I can't help anyone on that one. Ron, windshield wipers. Have you tried cleaning the wiper blades? I found that just taking like an old towel or even a paper towel maybe, and some household cleaner like you'd use to clean off your kitchen countertops, wet that down and clean all the grit off of the wiper blades, and that makes a big difference. And then if you clean the windows as well, clean your windshield with a product like Windex or something, see if that makes a difference. What I usually do is wait for wiper blades to come on sale at Costco, and they have something called, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Rain X, which comes on sale from time to time at Costco. I usually buy those, and they last me for quite some time, but having said that, it's not like I do a whole lot of driving since retiring. At any rate, give a shot just cleaning the wiper blades themselves and the windshield as well. I guess that's it. Back to you, Bob, N7QO.
Okay, Jim. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. This is Bob, K9PQ. I'll take my turn here. Well, I have a number of notes. I'm not gonna spend that much time on physics because I have a lot of other things to say. But I'll say two things. I have that book as well, and I've also not read it. I'm embarrassed to say. I'm going to go read it now because this is my thing. My degree's in physics. It's just a bachelor's though, and so and I don't remember everything as well. But a couple of things I can tell you from special relativity. Yeah, time slows down, and theoretically could go backwards, I suppose, if you were going to go at the speed of light. But the thing is, in reality, as you approach the speed of light, your mass grows infinitely large as well. So, let me break. Fantastic. Okay, so your mass grows infinitely large, and so you never can actually get there. It's one of the things, I don't believe this has ever been broken, but I might be mistaken, but an object that has mass that's going less than the speed of light won't be able to attain the speed of light. And as far as the E equals mc squared, the short answer for the c squared part is c being the speed of light is a very large number, and you square that, it's an even larger number, and so it gives you an idea of just the tremendous amount of energy that can come out of a very small amount of mass. So that would be my takeaway from that. So it gives you, it's sort of this huge multiplication that you make to the amount of mass, and that's why you get things like the atomic bomb out of such a small amount of mass. Windshield wipers, Ron, I don't have any good suggestions other than you might, once you buy them, put some kind of a cover over, to try to prevent the sun damage. Because I don't know that there are any that can actually avoid sun damage. Some have kind of shrouds. The ones I've seen, that was more for like ice and stuff like that. But maybe some have shrouds for sun damage as well. And Kyle Seeger's brother, Corey Seeger. That's interesting. He was giving out an award at the Country Music Awards. Let me break. Galaxy, I think, if I remember right, James, I'm not 100% sure of my memory on this one. I think it was because they were seeing into it with the near infrared, or somewhere into the infrared, and that's how they were able to get through our galaxy and see details from the galaxy beyond. Thanks, Jim, about the wedding. I would sure love to be there. We'd love to have a nice big wedding, and I think they're going to have some kind of a huge reception when they can. But it's just, in the military, here's the thing. If he got his orders and they weren't married, they wouldn't be able to accommodate her, and she has medical needs that won't allow her to stay a lot of places. She has to be near where there are large hospitals. And so if they're married, the military will accommodate them. But if they get married after he got his orders, it's too late. So I guess that's it. Oh, except for Rain-X. I use Rain-X, not the wipers. I think I have bought their wipers, but I use the fluid all the time, and it's fantastic. It saves on the need to use the wipers, for one thing. You can do without wipers completely. If you're going at enough speed, the water will just beat up and run right off. And it'll swipe across much easier. Well, let's get Dave. Dave joined us, and let's get him. This is Bob, K9PQ, and let's go ahead to Dave, K87CYM.
Good evening, this is Dave, K87CYM. Sorry I was a little bit on the late side. I had some food issues from yesterday. I had some chicken, I think, that didn't dissolve with me, and I had to do the green apple quick step before the net tonight. Sort of tied me up, you might say. Kind of with that MC squared, a lot of energy went out. So anyway, that's what's been happening here. I think I'm going to be on the road to recovery now that the item has passed, so to speak. So I'll send it back. This is Dave, KD7CYM.
Well, thanks, Dave, and I'm glad you joined us. It's great to have you here with us. So let's, hang on a second. Oh, there he is. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, you guys, for all the comments on my physics questions. You've been very helpful, so I appreciate that. And then, Ron, as far as you don't want to ask me about windshield wipers, because I barely, in fact, I barely know how to install them, actually. Recently, I bought some, and I thought I knew how to install them. They kind of, it's weird. It's almost the reverse of what you think sometimes, how to install them. But anyway, I thought I figured it out, and I drove around with them, I thought, installed for 2 or 3 weeks, and it would rain and I'd use them. But just the other day, I noticed one of them, it was the passenger side, it kind of caught a glint in my eye, and it was looking like it was extra wobbly.
N7CS disconnected.
And so, I noticed it was extra wobbly, and then, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was gone. It was just gone. And I thought, oh my God, and it was just, the metal parts scraping the glass, and so I pull over and I thought, oh my God, what this is crazy. Well, it was on the hood still, so it wasn't completely gone. It was on the hood, but what? And it kind of, I don't know, it came apart. The attachments kind of. Anyway, I figured out how to put it back together, but then I realized what I had not done when I installed them is I didn't press down hard enough to get the final click. I thought, oh my God, how did I miss that? And then I thought, well, if I didn't click it down on the passenger side, what about the driver's side? I hadn't clicked it down there. There's a physical lock. You can just feel it, and it just locks into place. So I'm just lucky So yeah, no, don't ask me about windshield wipers, please. I'm the last person you want to talk to. K7ITX back in that control.
Empathize, Richard. I am with you. Let's go to Ron, KD7QKU.
Well, this sounds like maybe Costco has a Rain-X. That sounds like it might be a good brand. Yeah, Richard, I don't even hardly know how to change them. I haven't changed them for a long time. So when I got them the last time, I drove over to what's the name of I can't even say the name of the auto parts store. They used to be Shucks, but there's something else now. They're all over. There's one over here. So I bought them. The guy came out and stuck them on, taking the old ones off. But my wipers were so bad, the rubbers had tore loose, and it was just, not doing anything at all. And they were the original, so the pickup's 2006, so they've been on there for a long time. But at home, I kept it in the garage, so it didn't have to sit in the sun. So whatever I bought didn't hold up very well. So let's see. Jim was talking about pumice, and I wrote down here Mount St. Helens. So I climbed Mount St. Helens before it blew up a long time ago, and there was a lot of pumice on it, and I think we went up what was called the Lizard's Head, if I remember right, and you walked in this pumice, and it was, it's like gravel, but it's, pumice is lightweight. I think you all know that. So you'd take one step up, and then you'd slide back, and take another step up, and slide back, and man, oh man, I'm telling you, whoever chose the route, I was with some other people, it was just terrible. Tiring to walk in. It was worse than, walking in beach sand or something. But we did make it, got up to the top, signed my name in the book up there, and of course then the mountain blew up, and so did the book. The book is gone. But I have stood on top of Mount St. Helens before it blew up, and it went up and down. I can't remember that we came down the same way we went up. I think, like I say, I went with some other people. They were going to climb Mount Denali, Mount McKinley, in Alaska. So this was training exercises for them. So of course they wanted to do it, I suppose, the hard way. But I went over to climb Mount Rainier with them, and it was the same way there. So that's it, I guess. But I don't know, if there's anything you can do to soften windshield wiper blades. As far as cleaning them, I would say my windshield's pretty clean, but I suppose I could try that. Maybe wipe them off. They just need to be softened up is what they needed to be too. So anyway, they just got hard, and they just chatter, I guess is the word I want to use when you turn them on. They just chatter when they go back and forth across the windshield. All right, been interesting tonight. Back to net, KD7. And then, Dave, I'm glad you're feeling better. KD7QKU.
Very good, Ron. Thank you. Let's go to James, WW7N.
Bob and Dave, good to see you tonight, and glad you recovered somewhat. And, it's O'Reilly is the new place. It used to be Shucks. But I've been getting my wiper blades from Costco. I do what Jim does. I wait for them to come on sale, and then I get a set for each vehicle. And when I think those are okay wiper blades. They're probably not really the best, because I think you probably need to change them if you really want really smooth operating, clean wiping wiper blades. Probably at least once a year, maybe certainly once every 2 years at most. They just don't last that long. But I think it is a combination of, we use wiper blades here a lot. We have pretty high standards of what we expect to see out of our windshields. And then, of course, we do get some sun up here. But I do recall in Texas, one summer and your wiper blades were done. So, I guess our UV and what it does to the wiper blades isn't as bad as it is in the lower states, closer to the equator. Well, let's see. It's interesting. Everybody has that famous physicist book. He must have made money on that book. I can't believe he didn't. Everybody bought a copy. And so I do miss that guy. He was always kind of funny and interesting. Him and he was right in there with that generation. I think the tail end of the Carl Sagan crowd. I guess was Neil deGrasse is okay, but I don't think he's a replacement for those two guys. I guess ultimately he couldn't be, right? Let's see, in for more rain. So, and Richard, don't feel bad, because the Costco wiper blades come with 25 parts. The trick is, which one of the 25 adapters do you need to use? Yeah, that's the hard part. I remember I end up with this whole giant fistful of parts from each wiper blade that I don't need when I finally solve the puzzle, and I always don't want to throw them away. What are you going to do with them? But somehow they seem so intricate and so, finely engineered, it's just hard to toss them in the recycle bin. That's the story of the all-purpose Costco fits anything wiper blades, but they are hard to get on, when you click them on. And they do warn you about that, I think, though, if you actually bother to read the instructions, which would be no fun at all. I'm not saying I'd do that. I wouldn't want you guys to think less of me. But you really do have to push them till they click and snap on. Otherwise, they will come flying off, and could damage your windshield. Minutes left. Let's see if we can go around again. Let me turn it back to Bob, our net control tonight. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue.
James, well, for ID, this is Bob, K9PQ. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Let's move on to Jim at 7QO. Go ahead, Jim.
And 7QO, thank you, Bob. So Dick and Ron, yes, what Jim said. The wiper blades are a pain in the butt. They do require some effort, and I remember scratching my head on more than a couple of occasions about which attachments are appropriate for which vehicle that I've got. So that's step one, to figure that out. And then it certainly, on one of my vehicles anyway, it requires more effort than I was expecting. You can do it. You just have to watch out for that. And once again, like Jim said, not that I've never done it, but read the instructions. Anyway, let's see. Bob, the E equals MC squared, I suspect that formula may change once someone invents the warp drive. I don't know. We don't know everything that there is to know about physics. Anyway, thanks for your input there. And let's see. Ron, Mount St. Helens. You climbed there, you signed the book, it blew up, and your book went along with it. Man, that's a bummer. It almost feels like, did I waste my time doing that or what? And interesting climbing on that pumice. I wonder how many people climbed afterwards and were kind of climbing on ash. And I hope they didn't breathe in too much of that ash. That couldn't be good for you. But volcanoes. Going back to Dick there. Hope it works out okay. Otherwise, someone might be stranded where they don't want to be. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, Dick. Back to you, Bob, and 7QO.
Well, thank you, Jim. This is Bob, K9PQ. I'll take my turn here. Well, tonight, since I'm net control this evening, I'm keeping on the first page where I have my master list of what order everybody is, which means by this point, I'm down in one little tiny corner in the bottom right of my pad trying to squeeze all the last of my notes, because I went way too large with all the notes first, and now I have a little tiny bit left for notes, so hopefully I see them all. Richard, yeah, with wipers, man, oh man, yeah, if you want a humbling experience, it's, try to put wipers on your vehicle. There's so many different ways to do it, and, some of them, the worst, I think, are the ones where they have this sort of a U, almost like a giant bobby pin, thing, and you're supposed to slide it in somehow, and you never got quite, and, like, I've done it backwards, and I've never gotten to the point where I was driving down the road and they came loose. That's a new one, but I had a lot of frustration trying to get those to work. Yeah, Ron, walking in pumice, I can imagine how difficult that is, and I'm impressed that you did that. I attempted Rainier twice and failed both times. Didn't get very far past the base camp at 10,000 feet, so I'm impressed that you did that. Let's see, yeah, the wiper install with all the extra parts, I'm with you, James. I think I've held on to some of those parts as well, because who knows, just in case, who knows? And if you want, you're talking about people from that same era as Hawking, a really good book to read that is by one of those physicists, but it's about his life and his life experience. It's called Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman. And it's by Richard Feynman, Feynman, and I highly recommend that book. It's an easy read. It's little short stories from his life. And finally, Jim, yeah, warp drive. I agree with you. If we get warp drive, that will change physics. There's no choice about it. There's a reason why that's science fiction, though, and not science fact. One of the things I liked about Star Trek is they didn't try to over-explain or try to really get you to, try to prove that their science could be real. They just said, no, this is just what it is. This is our universe. This is how it is. These things work. Get used to it. Okay, with that, I'm going to send it to Dave, KD7ZYM. This is Bob, K9PQ, with WatsNet.
That didn't work, so at least the rain came down enough finally to make up enough fluid on the window that the wiper actually swished across and cleaned it off, and then went back and forth several times. But when I got to Costco, I was surprised. They had windshield wiper fluid on sale, 2 gallons in a package, so I bought that package and filled up the reserve tank on the car, and then hit the wiper blades again, and oh my, with the fresh fluid in it, it like was rain and rain and rain across the windshield, and then the wiper blades didn't bounce anymore. But also I noticed a very strange odor of alcohol. So whatever was in that Costco windshield wiper stuff, it must have a large concentration of alcohol, as well as some type of substance that coats the blades. But I had to open the window in the car because the fumes were getting kind of strong, and I thought maybe from a safety standpoint, fresh air would probably be a good thing to do at that point. So anyway, I've noticed that every time I went to use the wiper blades. So if I use the fluid, so caution with that. But it was a good price at Costco, and it seemed to hit the blades, you might say. So I'll send it back to Bob, K9PQ.
Dave, I've spelled that as well. We have a couple minutes left. Let's go on to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, yeah, a couple minutes. So, Ron, you had to mention Mount St. Helens because I've got, eyewitness stories, myself, kind of similar to Dave, maybe, in some respects, but not quite as exciting, that I could probably talk about it for an hour. And so that's 2 minutes doesn't give me. But what I can say, though, is I went into the red zone on the first day it opened up after the eruption. And, but it was kind of disappointing, kind of cool. It was foggy the whole time. But it was about as realistic, it was about like being on the moon for sure. It was just unbelievable. It's pumice and volcanic rocks everywhere. I mean, it was like you were on the moon. So, anyway, that's all I know. K7ITX, back to net control.
Okay, well, thanks. Let me bring it back to myself here. Thank you, Richard. We just have a few seconds left, so I'm just going to close up here. Thanks, everyone, for joining, and thank you to the CTAC repeater group for allowing us to share our audio portion on this repeater. This has been the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Bob, K9PQ. Net control temporarily tonight, and I will say good night, and we'll be clear of the repeater.